Alright guys, on this video we're going to cover Turbo. This is not financial advice. I'm showing you what pattern Turbo's on, what Turbo is doing, where Turbo is headed. So let's start very simple, where if you come to this peak, so let me draw a line. If you come to this peak right here and I hold my cursor, it got close to 0079008. From there, the downtrend of Turbo began, which entered us into the current pattern. So if you look at it, Turbo came down, touched this trend line, moved, kept moving, kept moving, kept moving. Now Turbo broke down during this crash, and Turbo hit close to 0028, but I think the actual number was 00285. Turbo recovered, went back in the trend line, because as we discussed, descending parallel channel eventually breaks to the upside, but it hasn't done that yet. So Turbo now is moving sideways, but it did come as low as 0036, at least very close. Since then, as you can see, Turbo traveled down, wicked here. Since then, it moved to this direction. As soon as it moved to this direction, people are like, well, what's going on? Is Turbo's going crazy? Is Turbo gonna explode? What's gonna happen with Turbo? Well, the truth is, Turbo is doing nothing. Turbo just is following its trend line. It's coming down. Now, if you look at it, Turbo did wick right here, but the body of the candle came back in the channel. Right now, Turbo is forming a new candle here. This candle can also end up wicking, but not so far. It's not looking that way. So Turbo might break out. If it does, it needs to set a candle outside of this area. If it does, then Turbo will follow and go to my original target. When the dip took place a couple days later, I said my take profit target was 005, which I can see it happening. But as of right now, we don't know until we get this confirmation candle right here. So Turbo could get rejected here, come back down, keep moving sideways. But Turbo is at a spot where Turbo has to make a call what it's going to do. Either Turbo's going to decide to break out, or it's going to continue to follow this trend. And that's actually pretty much on Turbo. You know, Turbo's been good to us. A lot of you guys have good entry on Turbo. So therefore, even with a dip, you don't worry about Turbo. All your mind tells you is, man, I wished I took profit when it went to 0095, where a lot of you didn't take profit. But right now, Turbo is coming down this trend. If Turbo can break this trend line, then Turbo will go up. If Turbo cannot break the trend line, it's going to travel this way. So this video is just recapping the direction. Now you can see there's a stop loss right here for 003205. What does that mean? It means Turbo could break this way, but if the market doesn't want it to go that way, then Turbo will trigger its stop loss. And I'm thinking ultimately we probably are going to come this way, but you never know what the market is going to do, because BTC can go up and it's going to pull Turbo and say, no, Turbo, you have to go up with me as well. So from a chart perspective, Turbo's been going down. But when you are on a higher part of the trend line, that's how Turbo hit 0078. But now, Turbo, at where it stands now, I'm going to draw a line. Turbo cannot break 0044. Yes, sure. Can it wick up, hit that? Yes. Can it truly wick up even more, get to 005? Yes, it can. But until it truly decides to break from this line, Turbo cannot make its true ascent. And it doesn't have to go up this way. It could go up, down like this, and then go. But it's just not looking that way. So don't be in a rush to buy. But if you feel you want turbo, buy it. Until you get a confirmation candle outside here, it's just too dangerous to buy. Because if you bought turbo without this confirmation candle, let's say it wicks up. So let's say the body of the candle ends up being like this. And you end up getting a wick here, and you get a wick down here. Well, turbo opened here, let's say, traveled up to 0048. When you saw this, you, let's say, bought it at 004, but then it ends up closing at 0039, and then it comes back inside the trend. Now it starts to keep going on the trend. So without a confirmation candle, you get an entry, you think you're doing good, but it comes down. What you didn't factor in is turbo is just moving from the bottom of the trend sideways to touch the top of the trend. So things like this fools you. You're thinking amazing thing is happening. Sometimes also something that you guys miss is, let's just use this as the trend line. And turbo is on this line. Well, turbo moves, breaks that line and comes down here. The day resets. Then turbo travels back up and goes a little bit above the trend line. You're thinking, wow, turbo moved 15%. But no, yesterday it was at this line. Turbo probably moved 2 to 5%. But if you're coming from this bottom line to here, yes, then turbo moved 15%. So when you see percent, it's only good if it keeps stacking. If it's not stacking, it just had a little movement, but because it went down, you think turbo had this big of a movement. So again, follow the pattern, wait for a confirmation candle, then plan for a breakup. At least this will give you a better chance that turbo's going to move up versus rejecting back down. I hope this helped, guys. I'm going to wrap up this video. Again, this is not financial advice. A lot of my team, a lot of the people I associate with are involved in these coins, and some love their coins, some don't. Most loves turbo, but there are other coins. So I'm making videos recently so they can see, hey, this is the trend line we're following. This is how it's moving. I don't want them to be a victim of a move from bottom of the trend line to the top of the trend line and they think the coin has recovered when it truly has not. What I would suggest to you guys is get TradingView. It's free. If you get a paid version, it lets you have more than 2 indicators. If you have a paid version, it lets you have a long list. You can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lists. You can have one list with 50. Otherwise, they limit you. So don't let this trend line to trend line move make you think things are changing. Always wait for a confirmation candle. Same is true when it's going on an upward movement parallel line. It's gonna break down. So you ride it out. Once you get a confirmation candle, you say, you know what, I'll sell. You sell a little bit less, but you know it's going down. Without the confirmation candle, it can bounce here, wick down, and continue its trend. So you don't want to give up too early. You don't want to give up too soon. Yes, the confirmation candle each direction makes you lose a small percentage, but that's not end of the world, because if it continues to run, you're going to get a bigger profit margin. Same thing. If you watch it break down, yes, instead of selling it at, let's say, 10 cents, you sell it at 8 cents, but that saves you from, oh, should I sell it at 2 cents if it drops that much? It's a random example. I hope this video helped. Leave on the comment below if this helped you with the trend line. Please draw your own trend line, follow it, wait for a confirmation candle, and become your own boss. Don't rely on me or anybody else to guide you. Most people, and you can say me included, we are sharing with you what it is that we want. We have an agenda. We want something. This is why you haven't seen one video where I said, hey, buy this, buy that. I'm just giving you where I think a coin is going, but I'm not going to tell you, hey, buy this coin. You need to pick your coin, believe in your coin, and write it out. If you don't believe it, get rid of it. Do whatever is best for you. Don't let us influence you. Till next time.